Alright guys, welcome to another video on City Dynasty, and today I'm going to do a quick shop guide because there's one very important trick that you should definitely do as soon as possible in order to get ahead of the other players. Now if we actually go and take a look at the shop, obviously for the diamonds it's quite obvious what should be buying, which is the Superstar voucher. Everything else you can farm over time, either war through events, etc. Well, this one is going to be the most valuable, so you should definitely just buy this out every single week with your diamond. So that's all you should do with diamonds. However, the trick I'm actually going to talk about today is actually with your gold coins, because what should you buy in this shop with your gold coins? Now, immediately, a lot of people's first reaction is going to be buying the core partners, because the other stuff you can buy with your gold coins, for example, all of those basic materials, you can just farm them and build them up over time. So there's no need for you to buy them. Whereas the core partners, there are not many ways of doing that. So on the first look, this seems to be a good choice of where you should be spending your gold coins, and that is the case for end game. However, very early on in the game, the first thing you actually want to buy out is actually the enhanced cards. And the reason for this, a lot of people will be thinking like, why would I want to max dupe a character which I would never be playing, and I could just be summoning to get them when I do my normal summons, etc. But that's exactly the point, because what you would realize is that once you actually max dupe a character, any further dupes you are going to get is actually going to be turned into this player fragment, which you can then use to buy one of the superstar dupes. And this is very important because if you actually want to summon for them with diamonds, it's going to be very expensive. So this is actually the best way of you duping out a character, which is actually getting dupes of the same character over and over again. And what's the easiest way of getting a dupe? It's obvious through those basic characters, because you are guaranteed one of them every 20 summons. So you should definitely buy this out fast, and you want to do this as soon as possible, because if you actually wait too long and you meant to start getting dupe of these characters through normal summons, what's going to essentially mean is you have lost an opportunity, because any dupes you could have got early on could have been essentially already exchanged to fragment shops if you have bought them in the first place with gold coins. So that's kind of why it's very important for you to do this as soon as possible. And as you can see, I have already maxed duped 2 of my characters, and now I just need to work through the rest. Now, out of the 7 characters available here, the last one, Home Soul, the old man, basically you can ignore that, because this is like an original character which is completely forgotten by the game. So if you actually take a look at the supply crate, where you can get a guaranteed player every 20 summons, if you actually look at what's available in the pool, you can see, if you scroll all the way to the right, the last 6 characters are those basic characters where you can buy dupes with gold coins. However, that old man is not here, so which basically means that there's no need for you to max dupe him, because you will never be able to obtain more dupes of him through summon in order to exchange them into fragment. So that person, the old man, you can ignore completely. However, for the other 6 characters, which are actually summonable and guaranteed for every 20 summons, you want to dupe them out as early as possible, so that when you actually do any summon, especially if you plan to do some bulk summons, you would be able to already have those characters duped out. So any extra dupes you're going to get is then going to turn into fragments. And in fact, I'm going to do this right now with you guys, just so you know I'm not talking crazy. I already maxed out 2 of my characters. I'm actually going to buy out the enhanced card for the other characters, which I also have available. I'm going to buy as much as I can. Okay, so this basically allows me to, out of the 6 characters which can be summoned, I already have 4 of them duped out. Now I'm not actually going to enhance them, because if I actually want to enhance them, it's going to take you more coins, which is then going to take away your chance to buy out other dupe cards. So I'm not actually going to enhance them, because this is actually quite expensive. With all of the coins you can do to actually max enhance someone, you could have actually bought another dupe in the shop. So I'm not going to do that, and instead what I'm going to do straight away is just go into the supply crate and start doing summoning. Now, because I already have 4 out of the 6 character max dupe, hopefully if I get lucky, I can pull off the 4 which I already maxed to, and then I can show you guys how it gets turned into fragments. So you know what, I'm going to take a look at how much fragments I have first, just to show that I can get it. It will be increased. So right now 6k fragments. All right, this is basically by when you get a dupe, you get player fragment, which you can then do a 2-to-1 ratio into a player fragments. Okay, so right now 6k player fragments. Now let me do some summoning just to show you guys. Okay, let's do a temple first. Okay, who do I have? Oh, this is actually my designated character, which is nice. Okay, but that's not what I actually want to show. So in fact, let me use an item. This one, this recruitment CD. So if I use this, I can then reset my cooldown, and then I can go into my supply crate again because I just like once again I want to summon for dupes. So I'm gonna select the same character over and over again. So even though I already have ban, I'm gonna select him again. And just basically, if I get lucky and I put another copy of him, I can start max duping him, and then any further copy, I can then obviously convert into player fragments again. Okay, so let's try our luck again. Here I should be getting guaranteed character. So hopefully it's one of those basic. I mean, if I get banned again, I'm not going to complain, obviously. Okay, so I think I already have him. So if I go continue, you can see I have him, and then this turned into player fragments, right? And because this already turned into player fragment, what you can see, I got 300 extra player fragments. Right, I can then go to the fragment shop. I can then, this you can already see median. This now is 6.3k. And this is basically the very, very important trade that you guys should do as soon as possible. Because, you know, a lot of people don't know about this. A lot of people will be thinking, you know, why would I want to spend coins on something I will eventually max out anyway? But that's exactly the point. You should do this now so that any extra dupes would then turn into fragments, okay? Oh, there's actually one thing I forgot, which is the club shop as well. Now, for this one, obviously, you would actually be able to unlock more as your club level goes up. So that's kind of why I was waiting a bit more to see what other items we can eventually unlock before talking about this. However, one thing I am going to tell you guys is that I have actually managed to see the Superstar talent card in the shop. It's very, very expensive, but you are actually able to see it. So a lot of people, the first reaction is actually go to and buy those supply crate vouchers because you actually see the star voucher in the club shop a lot. However, and I used to buy that as well. However, what I did realize one day is that I actually saw, where's my backpack? I actually managed to see this superstar talent card choices in the club shop as well. And when that is actually happens, you definitely want to buy out because they are actually very expensive. And I couldn't buy any extra that day because I have already spent all of mine on buying out the star voucher. So my personal suggestion on what to do with the club shop is that you can either basically you should refresh one time every single day because it's free the very first time, but there's no need for you to go any extra. Now you could either wait all the way to club level 4 and level 5 to see whether you can get anything nicer, for example maybe the superstar voucher if that's a thing in the future, but otherwise just keep your coins until you see the superstar talent card. They are very, very rare, but as soon as you see them, you should just buy them out as much as possible.